Go outside right now. Find the oldest flower pot in your garden, the forgotten brick along the fence line, the wooden plank that has been sitting undisturbed in the corner since last spring. Crouch down. Lift it. Before you have even processed what you are seeing, they are already moving. Dozens of small armored bodies scattering in every direction, and a handful of them doing the one thing that makes every child stop and stare. Curling, perfectly, instantly, completely, into a sphere so flawless it looks like something manufactured. Your instinct will tell you something is wrong with your garden. That this many of them under one pot means rot or damp or neglect. I had that same instinct. Most people do. And most people are wrong in a way that is genuinely costing them. What you are looking at is not a pest. It is not a symptom. It is not something to remove or spray or shake off your gloves and forget about. What you are looking at is one of the oldest, most chemically sophisticated, and most consistently underestimated creatures in your entire outdoor space. And the moment you understand what it actually is, not just what it looks like, the way you think about your whole garden shifts. Start with the fact that stops people mid-sentence when I tell them. The pillbug is not an insect. It has no more relationship to beetles or ants than you do. The pillbug, known scientifically as Armadillidium vulgare, is a crustacean. The same taxonomic order as shrimp, as crabs. It is, in the most precise biological sense, a land-dwelling crustacean that spent tens of millions of years slowly, methodically, completely leaving the ocean behind and learning to live in the dark, damp spaces beneath your garden pots instead. I have told this fact to people in passing and watched them actually stop walking to ask me to repeat it. A crustacean, in the garden under the clay pot next to the basil. Once you know it, you cannot look at the animal the same way. The segmented plates, the multiple pairs of legs, the way it moves like something assembled rather than grown. It all clicks into place. That is not an insect body. That is armor built for something far older and far stranger. This matters beyond the dinner party curiosity of it. Because crustaceans evolved in water, their biology carries that history with them onto land. The pillbug breathes through modified gill-like structures on its underside, organs that must stay moist to function at all. This is why they live in the dark, in the damp, clustered under heavy objects, where the soil holds moisture and the sun never reaches. They are not hiding, they are surviving. They are creatures that left the ocean, but never fully stopped needing it. And the conditions they seek in your garden are the exact same conditions that support everything else you want living in your soil. They are detritivores, which means they eat what everything else leaves behind. Dead leaves, decomposing wood, fungal threads, the slow organic material that builds up on and in the soil surface over time. In doing this, they accelerate the entire decomposition cycle that produces plant-available nutrients. A garden with a healthy pillbug population breaks down its organic matter faster, cycles its nutrients more efficiently, and holds its soil structure better than one without. That function alone would be reason enough to leave them alone. But it is not the most important thing they do. The most important thing, and the one that researchers have been publishing papers about for over 2 decades now, is what happens inside a pillbug's body when it feeds in contaminated soil. Lead, copper, zinc, arsenic. These heavy metals accumulate in urban and suburban soils from decades of paint, exhaust, treated wood, industrial runoff. They do not break down. They do not wash away. They sit in your soil, enter your plant tissue, move into the food you harvest, and eventually into your body. This is not a fringe concern. It is the chemical reality of most residential garden soil in any city older than 50 years. Pillbugs ingest contaminated soil material as part of their normal feeding, and research published in Cell Biology International identified exactly what happens next. Specialized cells in the pillbug's midgut, called S cells, capture heavy metal ions from digested material and lock them inside mineralized spheres. The metals are not passed back out. They are not returned to the soil. They are permanently sequestered inside the animal's body, removed from the biologically active soil environment, stored in a mineralized form that cannot re-enter the food chain the way free ionic metals can. The pillbug does not just live in your soil, it is filtering it continuously, for free, in the exact locations where contamination is highest. Studies across European research institutions found that pillbug populations in contaminated urban soils carry measurably elevated concentrations of lead and cadmium in their bodies compared to the surrounding soil. The animals are pulling these metals out of the environment and holding them. When they die, the metals pass to other decomposers in a contained, significantly less bioavailable form. Your pillbugs are running a remediation program in your garden that you never asked for and almost certainly never knew was happening. And then there is the curl. The thing that made you stop and look twice as a child and probably still makes you pause now. That perfect defensive sphere is not just a behavior. It is a feat of structural engineering that researchers at multiple universities have studied as a model for impact-resistant flexible design. The overlapping exoskeletal plates are shaped to interlock precisely when the animal curls, creating a sphere that distributes external pressure across the entire surface rather than concentrating it at any point. No exposed soft tissue, weak seam. A load-bearing geometry so effective that engineers have referenced it in the design of robotics components, protective equipment, and aerospace structures. The animal you watched curl under your pot this morning has a body architecture sophisticated enough to inform spacecraft design. Let that settle. This is who has been living under your garden pots all along. A land crustacean with a 300 million year evolutionary history. A respiratory system descended from ocean gills. A digestive process that feeds your soil the nutrients your plants need. A heavy metal sequestration system that protects everything that grows in your garden and everything that eats what grows there. And a structural defense that inspired engineers building things designed to survive extraordinary force. Not a problem. A worker. The most useful thing you can do with this knowledge is also the simplest. Leave organic matter on the soil surface. Leaf litter, wood chip mulch, the remnants of last season's growth. Keep moisture consistent. Stop using broad-spectrum pesticides that do not distinguish between the creatures harming your garden and the ones building it. And the next time you lift something heavy near your beds and find them there, in their hundreds, scattering and curling in the sudden light, put it back down gently. They were in the middle of something. And they will get back to it the moment the darkness returns. The next time someone in your household moves toward the garden with a shoe or a spray bottle, tell them what they are about to disrupt. Not a pest, not a sign of something wrong. A crustacean that has been quietly cleaning your soil, locking away your toxins, cycling your nutrients, and doing all of it without any input from you, without any recognition, and without stopping once in the entire time you have owned that garden. Have you ever lifted something in your garden and been genuinely surprised by what was underneath? Tell me what you found in the comments. I read all of them, and this community notices things most people walk past every day. If you want to meet another creature that is doing invisible essential work in your soil right now, one almost nobody thinks to look for, the next video is already there.